Hello, everybody. Welcome to our episode 53 of the Drew Pavlu Show. We're going to be streaming some debate preparation with for Alex Jones. It's going to be tomorrow morning Australian time. Give me a second to share out the stream, guys. Beautiful, very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. I can't believe this is happening. Very crazy stuff. Hang on, sending it to my Discord server. Please make sure you prepare properly. Yup, let's fucking go. Yup. Thanks for joining, guys. Just sending the Discord out. 1 second. And I think Chris is going to be joining me, so I'll send him the link. Good to hear you're feeling better, Steve. That's great. Remember to look up how Ukraine was part of Russia until about 1957. That's literally not true, but good stuff. I mean, are you talking about Crimea? I don't know. Interesting. Happy birthday, Drew. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, just the Ukraine war in general. We're going to be discussing. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. Hang on, guys. I've got somebody else joining. Give me a second to send the link out. Okay, let's see. Wow, starting in 6 hours. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, no, we're going to be researching. We're literally going to be researching, watching this live. Okay. Remember, guys, like the stream. Very important you like the stream. Thank you. Please like the stream. The more likes, YouTube will bring more people to the video. Okay, hang on. Sending the stream link to Chris. I think JP Lindsay will try join too. JP Lindsay. Sending JP Lindsay a link. Got 23 people watching live on YouTube. Thank you, guys. Please, if you're watching live, remember to leave a like. It's very important you leave a like. It's actually crucial important. Very important, very important. Unfortunately, the Instagram live doesn't seem to have worked, so I'm just going to be using. I'm on Kick, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch right now. I recommend Brendan Martinez's Substack post on white genocide in Ukraine. Try to find that. How's the audio, guys? How's the visuals? I've asked them to try find out how long the debate will be. I'm still trying to work that out. We don't know. Practice yelling. You're going to need a louder voice in that. Facts. Good podcast last night. You keep topping the quality of guests and discussion on you, mate. Thank you, Con. Awesome, man. What time does the train wreck start? The train wreck starts 5 a.m. Australia time. If Jones doesn't back out, you're about to crush him. He also responded to Martinez laughing at his hypocrisy. People should not stop using AI to trigger. He'll talk about the CRU in Maidan 2014. It's simply not true. Yanukovych fled Ukraine due to the parliament, COVID restrictions in Russia. I sent it to you on Discord. Okay, I'm gonna try find the Discord. By the way, guys, if there's any one particular Alex Jones clip to go into, let me know. What? Do you support Zelensky banning the Russian Orthodox Church? Mate, you've just been completely bamboozled by Russian propaganda. The Russian Orthodox Church is basically a KGB entity in Ukraine. At the end of the debate, you got to throw out but hey, there's no videos of me admitting that I don't believe anything I say. How about you? I'm surprised he accepted. Yeah. Are you streaming until 5 a.m.? No, I'm not streaming until 5 a.m. I'm just going to do like a couple hours of debate prep. Not streaming until 5 a.m., guys. Hang on, I'm going to get this up. This is going to be interesting. Hang on, let's watch this.
There was light in my eyes, and it's got blue eyes. They go, look, he's crying over Russia being bombed. And then they go, look at this fool. He doesn't care about the Ukrainians. A psyop. And, you know, I should be crying for how much danger the whole world is in our civilization. And I don't respond to it because it hurts me when they do that. It doesn't. It just sends more people to the show. I just want people to be aware of when you know it's a psyop, when you see it all pop up everywhere at once, being pushed massively, and then tens of millions of people see the fake story, that's a direct...
Cool. $15 super chat. Thank you, man. Look forward to the debate, man. Happy birthday. Have a few coffees on me. Thank you, bro. Salute to you. Thanks so much. Very kind of you. Thank you, man. Weight loss injections are amazing. So true.
Globalist attack because they're upset about what I'm saying in the reports about how this is an attempt to escalate into full nuclear war with Russia, how it was clearly directed by the CIA, and how Trump is being kept in the dark, which is now confirmed. They're just mad because I have X-ray vision. But I don't have X-ray vision. I've studied so many aspects and how they operate over the years. I know the pieces that I know what they're going to do before they do it. And that's what they don't like, because I know the cards they got in their hand. Because I know the cards they got in their hand.
By the way, guys, we've got 20 people watching live. Please leave a like on the stream. Very important. Leave a like on the stream. YouTube will recommend us to more people.
And I know how they're going to play them. So, yeah, there's one of the viral things. You actually click it. It's got millions of views. I don't know what version you found there, but there you go. I'll pull it up for you on X, actually. That's the wrong one. But continuing here, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are. Yeah, now scroll to what they say about it. And the person, when I responded to him, said, oh, will you debate me? Yes, absolutely. Reach out to him right now. If you just don't cuss and scream and yell, I will have Drew, go back. Pavlo, did you say that? Pavlo on? Yes, sure. Come on. Let's debate this. Let's debate Zelensky being a dictator. Let's debate him running on promising a peace plan. Let's debate him banning the Orthodox Church and conscripting hundreds of thousands of people into being fed into cannons. Yeah, let's, but moving on.
Alex Jones. I'll try to find out. Let's watch back what he was. It's going to be a big debate. It's going to be a big debate. Is this his...
And the escalation of, and that's what you do when you do that, as General Flynn, the former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, explained.
Very funny.
I've seen a lot of people.
Very, very hilarious, actually. Guys, we've got 30 people watching live on YouTube. Leave a like if you're watching. Very important. YouTube recommends us to more people.
People on X with millions and millions and millions of views and comments A whole bunch of them. I'm not even looking for these videos. Like, oh, there's one with 2 million. There's one with 3 million. There's one with 1 million. There's one with 5 million. Alex Jones loves Russia, and he's almost brought to tears. One of the comments that got millions of views by the escalation of the war. He hates the Ukrainian people and wants them to die. Total crap. I just know too much about war and where this is escalating to. Ukraine strikes Kursk bridge in Crimea with underwater explosives, thousands of pounds with underwater drone. A whole bunch of them have been attacking. They've been blowing up the nets and defense boats they put out around there. This one got through.
True.
And this is all trying to stop a peace, which is what NATO always wanted to do, was have a war with Russia. They admitted it. They've been starting it for 15 years. They've been expanding around Russia. That's not even debated. The EU says they're going to bankrupt Russia with a 20, 30-year war and break it up in 5 parts. But none of that is on corporate news in the United States. I read it all day long. I watch it. Just the West, not poking the bear, but beating it in the head with a baseball bat. And we are just careening towards a new world war. And we're already in it, as General Kellogg, the head U.S.
I posted in the stream commentary channel in the Discord. Keep fighting the good fight. Thanks for the super chat, bro. Thank you, man.
Envoy to Ukraine said over the weekend. This is a world war now with all the players and the pieces. The only question is, will it continue to escalate, which the psychotics still running NATO won. And Trump months ago talked about pulling out. Elon Musk did. Others. It needs to be done now. We fund 85% of the damn thing. Or we fund 75% of NATO and then 85% of the Ukraine war. And then more funding was discovered. It's over 80% to NATO. And so I was against the Iraq war in 93. I was against being in Afghanistan because that's the U.S. government protected the actual Taliban and Al-Qaeda and flew them out to Pakistan before that strikes even began. And I just know the facts. Of course, it's come out with the USA money and the rest of it. The CIA runs Al-Qaeda and ISIS. And remember, Trump, when he first got in 8 years ago, ordered them to get U.S. troops out of Syria backing ISIS. And the Pentagon just ignored him for 2 years until he discovered it, and finally they followed his orders. So people say, oh, Trump knows everything that's going on in Intel. No, he doesn't. And the government's still full of globalist operators. So it's up to...
So he's saying Trump's not in control. Trump is being controlled by the globalists. Why support
us to inform him, which we're doing via our connections and sources with Trump and via through the ether and the grapevine of this giant megaphone. Massive broadcast today. So much I haven't even mentioned yet. Stay with us. We'll be back in 60 seconds. It is Tuesday. I'm your host, I told you that Ed Martin is now the head pardon lawyer. He should use and every day they go viral. Sealed capsules. Their most powerful war, but the poll
bond market into something probably pretty ugly.
Okay, listen. Let's watch him and Solovyov. Solovyov is one of the worst Russian propagandists. Oh, thank you, Steve. Happy birthday, Drew. Too bad it's going to be shit debating this turkey brain. Thank you, bro. Thanks, Steve Sane. Thanks for the super chat, my friend. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, man.
In Russia is Vladimir Solovyov, and he joins.
Yeah, the donations are popping off tonight. Thank you so much to Fight Sport Talk, Tom Foes, and Steve Sane for the super chats. Thank you so much, guys.
Us right now.
Happy birthday, Drew. When I come to Australia, I'll get you a present. Thank you, bro.
For the balance of the hour, he just ended his emergency Saturday broadcast. We're doing ours here as well, ladies and gentlemen. So, Vladimir, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to try to give you the floor because you've got more intel than anybody right there talking to all the
Jones is going to cook me.
People on the ground. We've already had reporters that are in Moscow on the show. To me, this is very sad for the 130 plus that have died and those that are in the process of fighting for their lives, and obviously more will die. But for me, it shows the psychoticness of the people that have hijacked my country who are a threat to me and my family. So my solidarity with Russia is my solidarity with sanity and not wanting World War III as a loyal American. You're a loyal Russian. So thank you for joining us. I know it's very late in Russia. You've got the floor, sir.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you to all Americans that send very warm words to Russians who do suffer from one of the worst terrorist attacks in the history of our country. We can compare with 9/11. During 9/11, there were almost 5,000 people that were killed. This terrorist attack was aiming to kill 6,200 people that attended the concert. So far, more than 140 people died, but unfortunately, the amount of deaths will only increase. A lot of people injured. So what happened? I can show you actually on the screen. We made a little presentation of how it's all happened. If my guys will get my computer on. Guys, can you show the picture? Yes, please. So that's what happened. A group of 4 people that were recruited through Telegram for not a huge amount of money, 1 million ruble each. They entered facility It took them about 10 minutes to get straight into the concert hall. On the way, they killed a lot of
So this is the Krakow call.
people. Then they throw cocktail Molotov grenades. They started fire and immediately left the building. Then they got on the car that were waiting for them and tried to move toward borderline with Ukraine, where they were waited by Ukrainian special forces that were planning to help them to get out through Russian-Ukrainian border. But they were stopped by Russian police and special services, and through a couple of hours of search, hide-and-seek operation, we managed to get them all. They're all alive. They're talking. They have no idea that they were ISIS, as they were told by United States and British and other officials. No, they were not ISIS fighters. They didn't want to die for whatever they believe in, like Islam. They wanted to live and to spend money.
Yeah,
Not
why
a lot
does
of
Joe
money.
talk about
Million
intentions?
rubles, it's like 10,000 bucks. So for 10,000 bucks, they killed an enormous amount of people. They were recruited through Telegram. That's a well-known way of recruiting that has been done already by Ukrainian special forces. And there were a couple of terrorist attacks inside Russia done this way. Money, Telegram, they're finding special guys, give them exact instructions. It's obvious that those guys were not able to come up with this rather sophisticated plan, because the building itself is not an easy one. So you have to know where to go and what to do. They knew exactly what's the game plan is. And they played by this game. But our special forces were one step faster and better. Then we saw this operation of cover-up operation, stating that no, that is not Ukrainian. Definitely it's not Ukrainian. It's a lie. Because right now, on the other side of the Russian-Ukrainian border, we saw an enormous activity of Ukrainian special forces that worked hand in hand with Islamic terrorist organizations. So we know that they're fighting hand in hand. Who's behind them? We know for sure, thanks to New York Times article, that they were trained by CIA and other special agencies of the United States. That's why when Victoria Nuland a couple of months ago stated that President Putin will get a lot of nasty surprises on the borderline. So now we see what's in her definition borderline is and what kind of nasty surprises she planned for our country. There's only one leader of Western world who didn't express his feelings toward Russians and didn't send, the right words, who didn't mourn with us, who didn't support Russian people after this awful attack. This is Zelensky. This little drug addict personality managed to blame Russian President Putin for this attack. The only person in the world who did that. Even President Biden, although he hated and he hates Putin, didn't come up with this. But Zelensky could not find even one word toward Russian citizens.
Trump is a very transactional person. So he looks at Russia, it's like Melania.
You will really cause permanent reputation damage to yourself if you go on his show. There's a limit to the spectrum, and he's way beyond that. Dude, I'm debating him. I'm not going on his show to talk about the news or celebrating him. I'm literally debating him and opposing him.
He sees it as a woman. I mean, that's how Trump operates. He sees Russia as a gorgeous, beautiful woman he wants to be with.
Let him cook, I guess. I don't know.
And the CIA goes, no. You're not getting in business with her. We're going to kill her and eat her. And so they're cannibals. Trump wants to have children with Russia. The globalists want to eat Russia, and they want to eat me. So that's really to understand their mindset. They're cannibals.
Pretty mental.
What the Yes, guys, this is not a drill. Vladimir Solovyov, the infamous Russian propaganda pundit, has just collabed with Alex Jones. I know guys, I'm also pinching myself right now, but this is not a dream, this is real life. And to be honest guys, this is just a legendary event, because the two great grifters and conspiracy theorists have finally met up, and they're about to bring us the most Z piece of content you've ever seen. During which actually Alex Jones broke out into real tears, so it must be pretty good. Hello Blazers, City Boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian. How you guys doing today? Welcome to a brand new video, and in today's video guys, I'm going to be reacting to the newest episode of the show Solovyov Live, which is the interview with Alex Jones. Now this interview is actually about 45 minutes long, I've actually watched it fully before filming this video. Yes guys, there was
$1.4 billion. He was fined $1.4 billion. It's not the entire GDP of France.
a tough watch. And I wrote down some of the more memorable and interesting moments that we could react to. But anyway guys, I'm pretty sure that if you watch my channel, you must be aware of who both Vladimir Solovyov and Alex Jones is. Vladimir Solovyov is the Russian journalist that's basically become the main spokesperson of Russian propaganda throughout the last decades, and essentially he runs multiple TV shows on Russian TV in prime time, essentially just spreading propaganda about, you know, Nazis in Ukraine and, you know, how the special military operation is important and everything. He's obviously very Z and everything, and also he's known for his very emotional behavior when sometimes on his live streams he would basically lash out at people and start screaming. What's funny is that I actually personally made a video about Solovyov already a few years ago, and I actually called that video The Russian Alex Jones. And now many years later I'm watching him call production lunatic, but he is a very entertaining character, the clips here and there, you know? Of course, I mean, additionally, video.
We're still alive and not dying.
Definitely.
So let's get right into it.
Very good morning to you. It's definitely a
It's good to be
pleasure.
here while we're still. It's good to be here while we're still alive and not dying in nuclear war.
Look, both of you guys have way worse things to worry about than the nuclear war, and I mean like personal consequences, you know, not just some big world extinction event, okay?
Basically, we live in hell. So finally, our job is try to stop it coming, not for everyone, but you're doing it from your side, you're telling people what you believe in, and you're blamed for that. You've been cancelled from whatever platform there is in the United States, and they still cannot close you.
Yes, guys, so these two are going to be the major themes they're going to be discussing in this entire podcast. Essentially, Alex Jones and Solovyov in this video are going to be claiming that their goal is to stop World War III from happening.
By the way, guys, we've got 37 live viewers on YouTube. Please leave a like, guys. If you leave a like, YouTube recommends us to more people. So I'd really appreciate it if you can leave a like. Thank you, guys.
And to stop a war between Russia and America happening, and essentially that they're both actually working for peace. Alex Jones doesn't want America to fund Ukraine, Solovyov wants Russia to take over the entirety of Ukraine.
It's a real meeting of the mind.
I don't exactly see how being Z is like taking steps towards world peace or whatever, but you do you. And another major point that of course they're going to be talking about in this video is cancel culture and how Alex Jones got banned just for telling the truth. When of course we all know that Alex Jones got in trouble for not telling the truth, but actually lying about a terrible, tragic event. There's a lot of them just saying redundant stuff about cancel culture over and over again in here, so...
Well, I love our republic, and I'm proud to be an American, but I have to be honest. I live in an occupied globalist country with corporate oligarchs like Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates in control, and they are arresting everybody. They have dissolved our borders. They're annihilating us. And so America, major polls show 80+% are against war with Russia. We know that George Soros and others started the war 9 years ago.
Do we know that? Do we know
Soros started the war. What the fuck, man? That's insane. That's mental.
that the reason why the war started in 2014 was George Soros? It wasn't Igor Girkin. No, it was George Soros. He was in that, taking over police stations and army bases in eastern Ukraine. George Soros, you проказник такой, проказник.
And the average American understands this is your back door. This is your homeland. This is where Russia started, was in Ukraine. The average American is not with NATO. We're not with the globalists.
Okay. So Ukraine is the backdoor and the homeland of Russia because Russia started with Ukraine or from Ukraine, right? He was obviously talking about the Kiev and Rus and everything. First of all, right, even if we assume that country
Here we go. Ukraine has always been a part of Russia. The West has deliberately split them up to destabilize them. These guys are very clear about what they believe in. They think that Ukraine should not exist as a country. They think Ukraine should not exist as a country. And it's very simple. If that's your belief, you're an imperialist. You don't believe in self-determination for peoples. You don't believe that anybody should be able to determine their own future and their own freedom.
countries, you know, should own territories on the basis of like historical rights to them or whatever. The Kiev and Rus started from Ukraine, so technically Ukraine is sort of the precursor to Russia. So then by your logic, which is flawed in the first place, Russia should be part of Ukraine then, right? I mean, what is this? And obviously, of course, even though Ukraine and Russia have common roots, these are countries that have, you know, grown apart through centuries and centuries. They had their own history, their own traditions, their own languages. It's not the year 900 anymore, you know?
I'm not saying the Russians are perfect. Nobody's perfect, but we stand against nuclear war and we stand against the Nazis that have launched the attacks in Ukraine. And so we have to tell the truth about what's happening, even if it gets us killed, because the globalists are insane, mentally degenerates.
Oh man, he could just go on for hours and hours, Candy, and he will. This entire 40 minutes is basically going to be him repeating the same thing, that America is stolen by the globalists, and that the people in charge don't represent like real truth and freedom in America, and that they're trying to lock Trump away to stop America from being free. And he's also spreading Z talking points at the same time. Great job, great job.
And they are so used to wielding American power of the country they've hijacked, like hijackers that take over an airplane, that they're flying the American airplane into the building like 9/11 that is Russia.
What does that mean? What kind of parallel is this? What does that mean, Alex? Okay, next point. Let's move on.
I just want the Russian people to know that just like you had oligarchs and you were occupied for a few years after the fall of the Soviet Union, but you kicked them out, we are struggling in a death battle to remove the controllers of our country, and we just hope in that process that we don't all kill each other.
Alex is showing great knowledge and awareness of Russian modern history right here, surely. I'm sorry, I was just under the impression that after the fall of the Soviet Union in Russia, this sort of oligarchical state has been established, and most of oligarchs essentially were friends with the Russian president Yeltsin, and then what happened is when Putin came into power, he essentially either jails or, kicked out of the country most of these oligarchs from Yeltsin's era, and just replaced them with like his little childhood friends. And those people are literally now the people who own everything in Russia and have all the money in Russia. So he just replaced Yeltsin's oligarchs with his own. I don't exactly see that as kicking out the oligarchs and getting rid of the deep states. This is just complete fucking nonsense.
So if there is nuclear war, at least it'll kill the globalists so we can all die together. I hope we can stop that, but I have a little solace that maybe God's gonna work through us all. We all just kill each other, but we're so close to it. I have to be very honest with you.
This entire speech and this entire 45-minute conversation, right? He's just so unhinged. There isn't even much to criticize here or like discuss in good faith because these two have like a very low grasp of reality, right? Most of this is just insane speeches about God and whatnot. It's gonna get into that a little bit later. It's gonna get even worse. I don't even know how to comment on this, honestly, because it's just very hard to comment when you have true grifters who just spread hateful messaging and propaganda through fear-mongering and conspiracy nonsense.
But how come that with great people of the United States, you allowed your country to be hijacked? How come that people that are good Christians, that are hardworking people, great nation, how come that people like Blinken, Joe Biden, it looks like they're much more interested in putting whatever taxpayer dollars they can for the benefit of the Ukraine to launder money through the Ukraine back to the families?
A little bit of a pot calling the kettle black here, but one thing I do want to point out is that Solovyov's English is actually pretty good. And actually what I find funny is that he's consistently Z in both Russian and English. You know how in Russian, essentially there's two ways to say in Ukraine. You can either say v Ukrainie or na Ukrainie. And the form na...
Why doesn't Drew talk about what happened to Gonzalo Lira? Yeah, what happened to Gonzalo Lira? He died of lung cancer after having too many smokes. He was a fat, overweight guy. He was sick, and he died of some kind of lung disease because he smoked fucking 50 packs of cigarettes a day.
Ukraine is essentially considered to be sort of offensive for Ukrainian people because it basically kind of implies that Ukraine is not a separate country and it's kind of like a region. I personally choose to say Vukraini, for example, but in Russian propaganda you will always see na Ukraine. And in English you have that as well because it used to be that you had to say the Ukraine.
Yeah, true. How should we... Alex Jones, Ukraine. Watch this.
NATO knows that Trump is very close to securing a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. And so today they ramped up drone attacks against Russian nuclear bombers, military bases and trains and other facilities at a level unprecedented. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drones clearly directed by NATO communications guidance systems. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the most dangerous point yet we've been at in this war, because NATO wants to escalate this and wants to see Putin respond even more than he did a week and a half ago to the doubling of drone attacks that Ukraine has launched last month. And so while Zelensky for the Western media talks about peace, he's all over Ukrainian television. Go to the Drudge Report, you can see the articles bragging about these unprecedented attacks. And this is the globalists want to continue to have control over the world narrative. And just last week, NATO and the EU said
Gonzalo was fighting for free speech and died for it. Yeah, dude, he was literally calling in strikes for the Russians.
they're going to take full restrictions off long-range bombs.
Tell me what single country on earth would allow a foreigner to move to their country in the middle of an invasion and call in airstrikes for the enemy party? What country on earth would allow that to happen?
Bombing with their missiles all over Russia. And so we are officially at war with Russia. Russia knows that we know it. This proxy war is boiling over.
Beautiful comments here. The Russians are on the good side because they're fighting the satanic, demonic, antichrist LGBT West. Makes a lot of sense. Fucking schizophrenia.
And it's totally insane. I am begging everyone out there to understand that the globalist system is collapsing right now. And the only way they can try to maintain control is a new world war. And we're already in that right now. And all the war games lead right towards thermonuclear war and Armageddon. So for all the crazies out there, all the leftists that love evil and love war and everything else, you're getting what you want right now. And I predict we're going to see a massive response from Russians. And the corporate media will say, look, they're attacking Ukraine for no reason. NATO started the war. They overthrew the governments of Ukraine. They did all of this. They brag about it, for God's sakes. And finally, the Trump administration comes out here.
I just want to fucking stop these people. They gotta be stopped. They gotta stop them.
He's a good performer, isn't he?
But the liberals, they're just scum. They're so bad. And they love war. They're just so evil.
All right. What do you guys recommend that I should watch? Alex Jones mentally. Gonzalo lived in the Ukraine years before the war. So true, bro. He was a proud Ukrainian. Gonzalo is a Ukrainian name. Hey, Gonzalo sounds very Ukrainian to me.
I want to welcome you to the program. And let's get firstly to what you just heard from Alexei there and the slight shift in Trump's tone. It is just a shift in tone towards Putin. What do you make of it? Is Trump capable, do you think, of standing up to Putin? I mean, these are your words, right? What are his views on tyranny and on freedom? Because right now he hasn't linked President Trump either concept to Ukraine.
I think in general we have a tendency to overreport what Trump says, and the funny thing about that is that it gives him more power at home because we imagine he has powers he doesn't have. But it also allows us to overlook his failures abroad because people abroad don't have to take his word seriously, and they generally don't. This is the 5th or 6th or 7th time that Trump has said, "Oh, I don't like something Putin has done," but there has never been anything like a policy response. The U.S. is not.
I have to set my alarm for 5 a.m., Drew. I'm sorry, bro. If you're Australian, it's starting at 5 a.m.
Under Trump, addressing any policy instruments towards Russia. And as Mr. Goncharenko said, it's very simple. We could bring this war to a close by doing two things: serious sanctions against Russia, and Congress could do that, by the way. We don't talk about Trump the entire time. Congress could pass a law, and increasing air defense and other weapon supplies to Ukraine. If we did those two things, we could bring the war to a close. But so long as we're not doing those things, our inaction is the story, and the words are not the story. Mr. Trump thus far has failed to understand what war is. And you're right, he doesn't connect it to freedom or tyranny. He also, he basically doesn't understand why people fight wars. He doesn't understand why Ukrainians would defend themselves, because he wouldn't. And he doesn't understand why it is that Russia is trying to take territory. He just sees that it's one more transaction. Why can't Russians do what's rational? He doesn't understand that he himself or our Congress have to change the stakes if we want to end the war. We could do it. He's the barrier.
Yeah, and interesting that you say that Congress could do it, because Speaker Mike Johnson would have to bring that to the floor. And given he certainly is an ally of President Trump, unlikely he would do that. I do want to move on to certainly...
So this is JP Lindsay, and JP Lindsay argues that Burisma was a
I called Laura Trump and I said you were right.
They should have told. Even Jake Sullivan at some point was like, "Is my name Steve?"
I called Laura Trump and I said you were.
Hang on, guys.
Even Jake Sullivan at some point was like, "Is my name Steve?"
I called Laura Trump and I said you were right.
They should have told you was news a year ago.
Was there a Joe Biden cover-up?
For the past months, I've been encouraging those who support Ukraine to separate Ukraine from Joe Biden. I said this is very important. And most people who support Ukraine, a lot of them were pretty frustrated with me, saying, no, what are you talking about? Joe Biden doesn't matter. He's in the past. Well, if you look at the headlines and the stories from the past week, and not just from MAGA, but from the Washington Post, from CNN, Jake Tapper has a new book. There's now a lot of anger on the left toward Joe Biden and his administration. And there's a sense that the American people were lied to, especially about the state of Biden's mental health, and that this affected the governance of the United States these past 4 years. And
beautiful. We've got 57 live viewers, guys. Please, if you're watching, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the show, and YouTube recommends us to more people. Thank you, guys.
So indeed, Biden does matter. As I knew for months, I was paying attention to what Donald Trump was saying. On Easter Sunday, for example, Trump tweeted, Christ is risen, and sort of F Joe Biden, because there's a sense of that we need to investigate how we got to where we are. And unfortunately, Ukraine is tied up in this too much and gets trashed in the process completely unfairly, not just by the Republicans, but also by the Democrats. For example, look at this here, Jake Tapper.
Trump was right. I mean, he did make a fortune from China, and Joe Biden was wrong. 4 million in income in 2017 and 2.2 million in income in 2018, most of which came from Chinese or Ukrainian interests.
Speaking now, the Democrats. For example, look at this here, Jake Tapper.
Trump was right. I mean, he did make a fortune from China, and Joe Biden was wrong. 4 million in income in 2017 and 2.2 million in income in 2018, most of which came from Chinese or Ukrainian interests.
Speaking now about the, now we realize that we were lied to, even though plenty of people for years knew that Joe Biden was not mentally fit, and the legacy media prevented that story from being told. Well, now it's okay to talk about it, and it's open season really on Joe Biden. And in talking about it, Jake Tapper is talking about the seemingly corrupt money that the Biden family made from, according to Jake Tapper, from China and from Ukraine. And this is totally false. This is everything I've been reporting on, seeing the way things were going, trying to get people to wake up. Ukraine was not the source of the money that Joe Biden's son made. It was Moscow. Joe Biden's son, Hunter.
Do you have a prepared response for when he says Euromade was US backed? Yes, I do have a response. I would simply point to the fact that there were 1 million people in the streets. These were people from all walks of life in Ukraine, elderly grandmothers. This was a real genuine democratic revolution. And it's so ironic that Alex Jones is all about power to the people, etc. And then when there is a real revolution here.
In 2014, after the Ukrainian Revolution, the corrupt pro-Kremlin government fled to Moscow, and it was from Moscow that the CEO of Burisma hired Hunter Biden and Hunter's business partner. And curiously, Burisma's incentive was for Russia to take control of Ukraine once again.
Thank you, Brent Quinn. Thank you, bro. Good to see you in the chat, bro.
And so they start paying a huge sum of money to the son of the United States Vice President, Joe Biden, who back then was in charge of Ukraine and Russia policy for Barack Obama. So Biden's family's making a ton of money from Russia, not from Kyiv, from Moscow. Right when Moscow needs America to do nothing. And guess what happened? Obama-Biden did nothing to help Ukraine in 2014. And so this...
Chris, how you going, bro?
Oh, beautiful.
What do you think we should watch? What do you think we should watch to prepare?
should be the focus. But instead,
This guy, JP Lindsay, his argument is that Burisma was actually a pro-Russia influence company. In
So far
Ukraine.
beyond it, especially because no one on Ukraine's side will stand up except for me.
Well,
and make
why
this
aren't
very
you
clear.
watching Alex himself?
Now,
I mean, there's only so much Alex you can watch, though, right? Like, I already kind of knows what he says. I don't know. It maybe I should watch more, but
Oh,
I got
okay.
it
So,
infowars.com.
in that case, you want to prepare you, right? You know.
What would you say?
Well, have you prepared what you're going? Like, have you prepared your?
I've got a document. I've got a document for sure.
Okay, but apart from like arguing about Ukraine, right?
What do you mean? I'm confused. What do you mean? Like we're debating Ukraine. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I assume there's going to be. Okay, it's Alex Jones. It's going to go off topic.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Further than that, further than that, how do you want to come across? I have some ideas for you, but you may have something strong. Like, where do you want to pitch it? Do you want to go on and be a lol cow, right? And then
I want to actually I want to actually go through and just like get rid of. I want to go through and unpack his stupid ideas, right?
Okay, but how do you intend to do that?
Well, I mean, obviously, he's the one going. I mean, that's a big fucking question. Obviously, that's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
What's your recommendation?
So, if you watched him, he's a bit like you. So he's gonna cut you off, right? Imagine
I already know that.
He's gonna cut you off, which is fine. He's gonna dump a bunch of shit on you, and some of it you won't have heard before. Pick one thing, just pick one thing out of the milieu of shit. Try and find a central thing, but any one thing, right?
Oh, there's going to be a million. There's going to be a million. There's going to be biolabs. There's going to be Victoria Nuland. Like there's going to be just a fucking billion different things that he plops on the table.
Then pick
even
one.
Those who might even seem to support Ukraine in sort of passing, they castigate Ukraine just like Jake Tapper does here.
Yeah, so
and this is unfair.
Each time he does that, pick one thing to actually assault, rather than because if you go scattershot when he launches 100 things at you, you're not going to get through any of them comprehensively before he cuts you off again and does it again, right? And you're going to get and then you're going to get emotional. Which there's a strategy in becoming an emotional old cow to get fame, right? I don't think you want to pursue that.
No, I'm not. I actually don't want to just be. I don't want to just go in and troll. I actually want to have a proper debate. I legitimately want to debate him.
I know, and I would also recommend at some point, as I've already mentioned, you're not so different, right? Were you not called a conspiracy theorist in the Australian Senate by Peter Varghese? Have you not attacked the elites and been roughly punished for it? I wouldn't look. At some point, whether it's at the start.
Do you think I should talk about my personal background? Explain because he's going to think that I'm like a fucking very briefly.
So briefly,
he's going to say I'm a globalist and all this shit, and he doesn't know that I fought against the Chinese Communist Party for 5 years.
So give you some common ground, right? So it's a bit endearing, right? So it's not you both share a lot of the same view in some sense on China. You diverge on Russia.
Yes.
So rather than being, rather than going and maybe going and swinging.
Well, yes, pointing out the fact that China is literally on Russia's side. They're in an alliance against the West, against America. They hate America and the West.
Yeah. And now, obviously, that's reciprocated. But I think that there is some common ground finding first before you start going insane over whatever biolab shit, right?
I've got some good comments here. Hang on. I've got some good comments to review.
Cool. Well, he's reviewing the comments. There he's back. Is he muted? Is that just me? No, it's just me.
Can you guys hear me? Is this okay now? Can you guys hear me? Am I still muted?
Oh, I can hear him. No, we can
Okay,
hear
no,
him now.
it's on now. Okay, it's on now.
We can hear him now. Yeah, beautiful.
Someone says, Matt Kell says, contrary to most people, I think Drew should out schizo Alex to get more of a. Fuck, no, I don't want to go more.
That's
schizo.
called the
I wanna-
Kanye approach. That's called the Kanye.
No, I
approach.
want to actually have a genuine. I want to have a genuine debate. So, okay, I've got some point. Focusing on the completely one-sided criticism of Ukraine for defending itself. Never once condemns Russia's attack. Doesn't condemn Putin for rejecting a ceasefire. Just condemns Ukraine for just refusing to roll over and die. He's going to obviously go about Euromaidan, Victoria Nuland, the coup. The phone call does not prove a coup. She was talking about a deal Yanukovych himself offered to bring the opposition into the government. So Yanukovych actually sat down and he said, let's have new elections. Let's bring the opposition into the government. And then he fled to Russia. So, that obviously completely dismantles it, right? I want to bring
not
up
really.
the fact that,
I mean, no. What would that prove? No. I'll play Alex. That proves nothing. That proves absolutely nothing, right? You've presented. Yanukovych says this, then he clearly gets some other advice, right? Now, whether that's Victoria Nuland, calling on her phone and saying, send the 6 billion Ukrainian sleeper killbots from the biolab, or they threaten his family or whatever. Whatever,
yes.
right? And then this is the way it will go. It'll all get drawn upon each other. That's what you need to be mindful of.
What about focusing on the fact that Russia is a third worldist power? Like, dude, you see Julius Malema, the South African communist race war fanatic. He's going out there saying the same guy who chants "kill the Boer." He's going out there saying Putin is me and I'm Putin. We stand with Putin. Like every single third worldist insane communist fucking supports Russia. They're building Stalin statues in occupied territory in Ukraine. They're building Lenin statues in occupied territory in Ukraine. I just ask him, why is he on the side of the people who are building the Stalin and Lenin statues? Ukraine's the ones that blow it up. Ukraine blows up the Stalin statues, the Lenin statues.
Yeah, so true. Azov does some work there. But
how does he
it will shift
though.
Drew, it will shift.
Yeah.
Right. You just got to surf the moment.
Yes.
You just got to surf the moment. So
Drew, can you zoom your camera in? Fuck, I don't know how to do it. Fucking hell.
beautiful.
So
Drew's most
fucking
perfect technical ability. So in that, it's not good, folks. Chat, it's not good.
Hang on. Western hegemony enjoyer. I'm not pivoting from Euromaidan. I'm just bringing up. I want to talk about Malema. I want to talk about the third worldism of Russia. What should I watch?
I mean, is it watch? I still think we have you could watch 1,000 hours, but
yeah,
and unless you're gonna even if you sat there with you had a slide deck with perfect references that even it wouldn't matter, right? This is the point, right? This is what I'm trying to drive at.
Yeah.
What are you trying to get out of this? What are you trying to get out of it, right? Now I know what you're trying to get out, but also how do you want to present yourself? So just accepting that we're not going to go change his mind.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
How what are you bringing to this conversation to present to the world?
I want to try and reach some of the people in his audience and explain to them that Russia is essentially a globalist fucking tyrannical power that is against Europe, that is against Western society. They're slaughtering Ukrainian Christians, they're slaughtering European Christians. He's on that side. That's what he wants.
And I think this is a much stronger tact to take than trying to get into the infinitesimals about Victoria Nuland.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into a fucking 6-hour debate about Victoria Nuland's fucking period that she had in fucking 2014 during Euromaidan. I don't want to be talking about the minutiae of Victoria Nuland's fucking sex life or whatever. I want to be talking about the fact that Russia and Dugin want to fucking kill white people. That's what he's fucking supporting.
Yeah, and I think that's the right way to go about it. It will make it harder for him to directly come back on that. Now he's likely to pull it back to being USA. There are strings he'll pull on there. I can guess
What
what, they're
about-
going to be. But
what about his stuff
I'm
with-
not sure I want to. I'm not sure I want to repeat them on camera.
Shit, so he's
or-
had Alex. Hang on, I'm gonna put on him talking to Jugan. This is like 3 months ago. This is actually a good thing to watch
Yeah, this is if this you're going to watch something, watch this.
because Jugan is just pure third worldist slop.
Seen this attempt
The
to
portrait of-
assassinate
I know,
Trump,
it's actually just sad, bro. It's actually fucking sad. It's not coming back. Is it?
No.
I was convinced in the very moment that this man is on the level of the ideas he defends. He was and is real hero.
Well, the funny thing is, though, you know, I got the comment by Mitchell Dawes. Oh, Putin is so highly nationalist. Have you seen Putin kissing a gold Quran? Like, this is stuff we should fucking put to Alex Jones. Why does he support this? Putin Quran. Hang on.
Yeah, Putin. Sorry for Russia chuds in the chat, but Putin is a Russian libtard boomer. Putin is like
Putin literally said on camera.
Putin,
Putin said on camera
Putin is Slavic
that-
George Bush. Sorry, guys. He's not the great savior.
Putin said that diversity is Russia's great strength. Like, wow, so base, brother. The moment Putin kisses the Quran in the mosque. Hang on. Wow, this is based in trad pilled and nationalist, bro. Brother. Can you imagine if like Keir Starmer kissed the Quran? I was like, imagine if Emmanuel Macron went to a mosque and kissed the Quran.
No, Starmer only prosecutes people who burn Quran.
No, you know how everyone's been talking about the guy in Britain who burned a Quran and then he got like attacked.
Yeah.
And then the courts
Yeah.
basically accused him of blasphemy. Like in Russia, when a guy did that, they transferred him to Chechnya so that the Chechen Islamists would just like fucking torture him. And like Kadyrov's son tortured him on camera.
Beautiful. I mean, Starmer. You know, Starmer is.
That's another
of that
level to
mold.
Starmer. That's another level to Starmer, right?
Yeah, yes. Well, Starmer is just Starmer's only doing some light-based feminism.
Have a look at Mitchell's comment. The cope. Putin doesn't actually believe that stuff, bro. He just doesn't want the Chechens to act up. So true, bro. That's why he's kissing a golden one.
Yeah, and Starmer doesn't live in fucking in a South London in the fucking Clapham Towers, but like that doesn't mean the effect of what they do. It, like principally has an impact further on. I think this is the point. I think that if you take this tact, it becomes a lot harder to squirm out of because it is fundamentally true, right? Now, Alex is likely to say that, this is the response, this is what Russia has to do because the West is pushing the war on him. And you need to find some way.
An era of
look at this
fundamental changes. When a new world order is being formed that reflects the diversity of the entire planet.
Just so base, bro. This is the future against the West, brother.
And this natural process is irreversible.
He doesn't really care about Russia's ethnic minorities. So true, bro.
New powerful centers of economic growth, financial and political influence are emerging. First of all, here in the global East, in the global South as a whole. These new centers seek to preserve and strengthen their sovereignty and socio-cultural identity.
He's so based. He's so based.
We are convinced that universal peace and comprehensive development can only be achieved by taking into account the views of each people.
So based. Putin on African currents. So based. Putin on Africa. That's a good one as well. What's a good one?
From the T-34 tanks to modern vehicles, you notice the technological evolution of the Russian army, which inspires us to develop.
Not the fucking tomato paste maker. Fuck. Strength
in
of
the same
world
direction.
on tomato paste.
The tomato paste is rising. The tomato paste is rising.
I don't know, Obsidian. I'm not
Burkina
sure how
Holy
many,
shit, we've got a Chud in the chat going, kissing the Quran is simply a statement of respect for all religions, which is not the case in the West. Dude, if Keir Starmer went and kissed the Quran, you'd be fucking crying. You'd want a fucking civil war in Britain the next day. Imagine if Keir Starmer went to like the mosque and just kissed the gold-plated Quran, which is what Putin.
I mean,
does.
no, I would no, I would disagree on that, Drew. I think it's actually far worse.
Wait, you think Keir Starmer's worse than Putin on Islamism?
I think he's less brutal, but the fundamental reality is like the British state as a whole acts.
It's not going good, obviously. I do agree with you that it's there's a funny thing where look how beautiful.
Это святыня мусульманская и для всех других.
Our base fucking savior.
Должна и является святыней. Мы знаем, что в других странах поступают иначе, не уважают религиозные чувства людей. И еще говорят, что это не преступление. В нашей стране это преступление. И по Конституции, и по 282 статье Уголовного кодекса Российской Федерации. Это святыня.
Beautiful. This is beautiful slop. This is epic slop.
He's libtard George Bush, Russian style. It's great.
The Grand Mufti of Russia delivered a powerful address during a ceremony honoring individuals across various sectors.
Таджуддин, Верховный муфтий, председатель Центрального духовного управления мусульман России.
So fucking gay, dude. Are there any subtitles on this? Literally in Russian.
Our most respected.
Oh, hang on.
Our most respected president, dear Vladimir Vladimirovich. Earlier this week, you gathered nearly all of our heroes. There are no longer just dozens, but hundreds. And you captured the remarkable spirit of our society and our country with these words. It is
Wait, hang on, look at his fucking legs. This is so weird.
And you captured the remarkable spirit of our society and our country with these words. It is impossible to conquer or break Russia.
What the fuck's going on with the legs?
Precisely. Each century we prove this.
What a beautiful society.
We reached Paris, Berlin, Stockholm, and now there are no borders ahead of our Kinzhal missiles.
The Grand Mufti going like, we reached Paris. Fucking based, bro.
You said we have truth, the power of weapons, and the strength of spirit on our side. All of us Russians, including faithful Muslims, have no doubt that we will undoubtedly win because the truth is ours, and the strength of spirit is ours.
His legs are really weird.
Where does truth come from?
Is this like your first encounter?
Everyone has their own truth.
What do you say?
Is this like your first encounter with a human leg? He's just flicking his legs because it's like.
I know, it's just funny though.
But we adhere to the spirit.
He does actually genuinely have some weird tics. Like I remember from his Tucker Carlson interview, like his leg was just going like the whole time. It was really weird.
Spiritual and moral values given by the Lord of all worlds.
You can't. This is very ableist of you to attack Putin like this.
So true.
Next.
This was a based moment. This was another based Chad Putin moment. Putin laughs at suggestion to export pork to Muslim-majority Indonesia.
Допустим, Германия 5,5 миллиона тонн в год производит свинины, из них почти 3 миллиона на экспорт во все страны. И прежде всего Китай, Индонезия, части Япония, Корея и так далее. Поэтому, конечно, нам ни в коем случае нельзя останавливаться и по свинине. Нам нужно наращивать объемы и...
No translation. Fuck. Oh, gifted a sword to the Grand Mufti. That's so based. Hang on, let's watch this.
I think we should gift more swords. I think that's
Check out the Martinez article. Has links to all of this. I sent you a great Dugan clip too. Okay. Even if he was an ethno-nationalist extremist, he still has to act diplomatically. He can't just piss everyone. This is the biggest chud stuff ever. Like a Western leader does any diplomacy whatsoever, and people will have.
Sorry, chat chuds, but I'm a bigger chud than you, and sorry, he's a fucking boomer. He's libtard boomer. I'm really sorry. It's not a good way to find out.
Why is this fucking not working? Something's wrong with my computer. Hang on. Okay, beautiful.
Хотел бы высказать слова благодарности ислам исповедует ислам, это органичная
Yeah.
России, общества российского.
I mean, look, so the reality of this is, which is, who cares?
I don't care. I don't care. It's just for someone like Alex Jones who's like, oh my god, like Keir Starmer personally wants to fucking do Sharia law tomorrow. Like, it's just fucking hypocrisy for Alex Jones.
Yeah.
I don't care if Russia has retarded Chad. Like, you know, of course he's going to meet the Grand Mufti. I understand he's going to meet the Grand Mufti, but it's just fucking funny the way he does it.
It is quite funny.
It's just really boomer.
They're the best.
Когда вы объявили специальную военную операцию, в тот же день мы пошли онлайн и полную поддержку специальной операции, не обратились ко всем нашим региональным духовным управлениям и начали собирать войска. А сейчас и в тот же день мы заказали вот это. На самом деле, вот защитник Отечества, он каждый год. У нас ни дня не может быть без защиты Отечества. Те, кто...
Beautiful. Okay, let me get up that Brendan Martinez article. This is interesting. Let's see this. The Kremlin's demographic replacement agenda in Ukraine. Interesting. Russia and its proxies like Belarus are spearheading an agenda of ethnic replacement in Ukraine and other places in Eastern Europe. Since invading Ukraine on false pretenses, Putin has sought to ethnically disfigure the country by importing thousands of non-Slavic migrants into the eastern Ukrainian territories he occupies. Very interesting. Russia relocated 100,000 Central Asian migrants to Ukrainian. That's fucking crazy. How the fuck can like Alex Jones defend that?
This is classic. Like, to be fair, this is classic Russian like population movement. But yes, like, this is not epic based. You know,
our base defender of European
base defender of Europe. When I bomb European children and have like 20,000, like, you know, 20,000 Kadyrov's head choppers, and then like another 10,000 of like, you know, North Korea's finest, you know, starved peasants come and run rampant through, you know, Eastern Europe. Doesn't really seem like this is the West being back. It sounds like it's quite fucking over, actually.
Wow, he's because he said that he doesn't like gay people, bro. So he's actually really conservative. Like, literally, the only way that Putin's conservative in any possible way is like, I don't know, like what, on LGBT stuff. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh,
and the Russians just do the raping in the army anyway. Like, it's not, you know.
Well, they rape each other in the army.
Yeah, sorry, it's just not the epic based trad country. Bad news.
Mitchell Dawes says this is the exact opposite of the Australian government importing 1 million. Dude, I'm not in favor of infinity migration in any country. Like, when will this debate happen? The debate is in 7 hours' time. Exactly 7 hours' time.
You're gonna be so sleepy. Sleepy, dude.
Wow. Has shipped 100,000 Central Asian. That's so base. As part of it.
Росіяни заселяють окуповані українські міста мігрантами із Азії.
Oh, it's in Russian, so you can't. Oh, I think Brendan is pretty far right, to be honest. That doesn't look good to me. But Radio Free Europe report on the hundreds of Central Asian migrants being lured into Ukraine to work, who are then prevented from leaving by Russian border guards. What about the fact that they bring in, like, you know, like Nepalese, African soldiers as well?
Yeah. They are perfectly happy to. I mean, the North Koreans. I think the North Korean, like, just like you've got to think about what's gonna like make him tick, right? And like literal communists, the Juche. You know, if you can call Juche communist.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it is. You know, Juche. You've got beautiful, you know, like whether they're Chechnyan or merely like Dagestani Central, like. Caucasus Muslims. It's just not. You know, they heavily recruit from the Buryats, right? And there are other reasons for that.
Yes,
but that still has the effect of dumping. You know,
I can't order translate that one.
Dumping tens of thousands of non-European soldiers into Europe.
A CEPA report on the subject. What's CEPA? Hang on. Chechnya, Buryatia, other nationalities. Russia's ethnic cleansing. Yeah, literally. There's evidence that Russia may have caused a portion of the refugee flow from Syria towards Europe, which has exploited for propaganda purposes. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, but Belarus is open with it. Belarus is incredibly open with the fact they did that.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
Really, that's not really a.
Do you support Belarus? Basically, yeah, like literally weaponizing third world mass migration, refugee mass migration against Poland. I mean, that literally is what he was doing. Mass deportations. 93% of the high-rise building. Then you ethnically cleanse. Yeah, that is literally genocide. What about that beautiful video of the Islamist fighters in front of like the buildings that they burned in Mariupol, and they were just chanting Allahu Akbar? So based, bro. So based. Our grand Western civilization. What else? 35. Yeah, actually, this is very important. The kidnapping of the Ukrainian children is so fucking important. We've got to go into that. Absolutely have to go into that.
I think that's probably
that's literally the most important. Let me bring up this PDF. Hang on.
Where are they? Are they in the Russian tunnels? What's the?
Yeah. Oh man, that is fucked actually. Yeah, because he claims himself to be a defender of children against like fucking globalist elites. Why does he support Russia kidnapping Ukrainian children and just, I don't know, disappearing them into a black hole? Drew, you can auto translate almost any clip. You can click on subtitles for original language Russian, then click again and select English. Yeah, but this wasn't on YouTube. This is on Substack. But thank you, Bonkers. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. And by the way, we've got 50 live viewers. Thank you so much. Please hit like if you're watching. Putin was born a woman. That's very true, actually. That's facts.
Actually, that would be quite
argue that. Should I actually argue that to?
That would be quite a schizo. Yeah, just go on the
Putin
reverse.
was born a woman. Actually, that's a good point. I should raise that with him. I'll raise that with him.
What? Yeah, you could ask it genuinely. Like, what do you think about these claims? Right. You could also be schizo with it and be like, Putin was born a woman. This is
actually, great.
The Central Asian Terran Empire.
Putin saying nationalism is the first stage of fascism. Do you agree with that? Sounds pretty fucking globalist, right? Actually, that's a really good one to bring up. Putin, nationalism is first stage fascism. Putin criticizes nationalism. Does anybody have a link to this one? I've seen it before.
What an enormous price our nations paid for the victory over Nazism. The colossal sacrifices that were made, disguising attempts at world domination or
when the Ukrainian children orphans who were abandoned by their parents. So true, bro. Wow, $50 this stream. Drew won't be starving anymore. Yeah, no, thank you guys. Thank you.
In domestic affairs of independent countries. There's no doubt that Russia, Belarus, and other countries will forever remember the lesson.
Do an all-nighter, Drew. Go on with bloodshot eyes. Do a 3 a.m. 8 ball so you're buzzing. Match Infowars energy. That's actually based.
Lead schizophrenic, Drew.
Okay, hang on. I'll go back to the article. There's actually so much to cover. In addition to killing thousands, other Ukrainian refugees fleeing the conflict zones are brought deep into remote areas of Russian territory. Yeah, that's literally deportations of Ukrainians to Siberia.
Base bros. It's not looking good.
It's not exactly fucking based, is it, guys? That epic moment when you kidnap Ukrainian children and then you replace them with like, I don't know, like Buryats and like, you know, like just Chechen guys who are screaming and like cutting people's heads off. Fucking normal as.
And yeah, this is my other grand strategic point, rather than just like, honing in on like micro dick flicks. If you're going to get emotional about a point, make sure it's one where you've actually been to Ukraine. I think it's a lot. It looks a lot less
absolutely.
retarded. One, it looks
Absolutely.
a lot less retarded, but also it's, you're not wasting it on, getting mad because, that he talked about Victoria Newland's like,
Yeah, I don't even care about Victoria.
vibrator.
Like, yeah, I
but
I don't want to talk about
but he's
Victoria
gonna
like jacking off.
yeah.
I may have an Azov cup. Should I have that on the stream? Should I bring it on now? Maybe we're getting too based here.
Yeah, you're spending too much time talking to me.
The people he's replacing Ukrainians with are loyal to Russia despite their ethnicity. That's why he's dumping them there. Wow, that's based, bro. That's so fucking based. Wow. The Chechens are loyal to Russia. That's really good.
That's epic. Perfect.
That's based, bro. Holy shit. Epic.
Holy fuck. Did you even read that before you fucking wrote that? Dude, shut up.
dude, you could literally like a far right chud could say that about like Starmer. It could be like, oh well, he's replacing you because they're loyal to Labour. Like you think that's a good argument?
That's literally the whole fucking point. That's the whole fucking.
Get emotional and cry about how Russia is globalist and forcing their globalist agenda on white children in Ukraine to replace them with Chechens. That's so true.
I mean, that is reasonably true, but
should I display the Azov cup?
I don't know.
Should I display that? I can drink it.
Do you what does he even say about Azov? I fucking don't remember.
I don't know. Does he do the like Ukraine's Nazi meme?
Well, this is the thing, right? He like shift like he like it's the enemy is ill-defined to Alex.
Yeah, he just comes up with he literally changes schizo mind. Chris, you gave Drew good advice, but did the exact opposite, straw manning me. You're being very unfair to Mitchell, my friend.
Yeah, but I can do that. I'm not debating Alex Jones. Like I'm not trying to debate Alex Jones. I'm perfectly happy to straw man you. It's just a non-sequitur.
I actually agree with Yusuf that like the Chechens fighting for Ukraine are awesome, and the Crimean Tatars fighting for Ukraine are awesome. I'm just trying to point out the hypocrisy of Alex Jones, where he's like every day he's talking about the Islamization of Europe and stuff like that, and then meanwhile, like based Russia is literally just like deporting Ukrainian children.
We wouldn't be having Chechens fighting in Ukraine on either side if it wasn't for the war. I think that's like
exactly.
There's brass tacks, right? Like we only have this because the war is on.
Are you saying there are no Nazis in Ukraine? Wow, bro, so true. We've got some really retarded Russia chuds in the chat, which is really funny. 35,000 Ukrainian children have been kidnapped from orphanages and brought to Russia, where they're indoctrinated in re-education camps and adopted by Russian families. Literally straight ethnic cleansing. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think we should investigate whether Putin was born a woman? That I should say that, I think. Oh, thank you, Klungo. Damn, guys, we're doing well. We got $60 in super chat today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Klungo. Why do you think the war is actually going on? Asking for a friend. Because Putin very much outlined this in his interview with Tucker. Tucker kept on bringing it up. Tucker kept on trying to steer the conversation to NATO. And what Putin did in response was, no, let's not talk about NATO. Let's talk about 1,000 years of history with Russia and Ukraine. It's never been a real country. It's really our little brother. They can't have their own country. They have to be part of the Russian Empire.
It is straight up and down. Nationalism versus like global, imperialism or globalism, right?
Ukraine has been able to verify Russia's deportation of 19,456 children to date, although the true figure is likely to be much higher because Russia frequently targets vulnerable children without anyone to speak for them. That's sick, man. Claim that Russia has accepted 700,000 Ukrainian children, a terrifying benchmark. That's a fucking scary number. So they take them and put them in tunnels or something like that.
the tunnels.
I'll ask him. I'll just ask him.
It's a powerful bit. I think it's a good.
I'll ask him. Like, when Putin deports, when Putin kidnaps and deports when Putin kidnaps and deports Ukrainian children, where are they going? Are they being trafficked?
He's just keeping them safe from the Redditor Legion.
Are they being raped? Are they being put in tunnels?
Question mark.
Yeah, I'm actually going to ask this to him. I'm going to ask him this. See, this is the thing. He's got to think that I'm like this globalist. He's going to think I'm like a lefty or whatever.
Nah, you're gonna hit him with you're gonna hit him with the.
I'm going to say you're supporting white genocide in Ukraine. Like that's that's true though. It's what Russia is literally doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't say it.
I think he's gonna. I think he thinks I'm gonna come on and be like, I don't know what he thinks I'm gonna say. Like, oh, we have to support Ukraine because of vaccine mandates. Like, no, I'm literally gonna say, Alex, you're supporting communism and white genocide. That's what he's fucking doing. That's what he's fucking doing. It's actually facts though, and he can try like bog down the conversation and just like, oh, like Victoria Nuland's vibrator. I don't give a fuck. Let's talk about the children that are getting kidnapped. That's a good question. Victoria Nuland's fucking vibrator. We don't care. Vibrator in 2012. This is going to be a great debate. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready at all. Say there's a genocide in a country with a lot of white farmers where one group wants to take their land and kill them. This country is called Ukraine. That's powerful rhetoric.
That's actually a good piece of rhetoric.
That's actually really good.
I'll give it to chat for that one. That's good. That's good. That's good shit.
Sorry, I just arrived. Are you actually debating Alex? I'm literally debating him in like, I think 7 hours time. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna like sleep for 3 hours and then I'm gonna like go up. I'm gonna take a Ritalin.
Beautiful,
pill.
beautiful.
I'll be so fucking hyped
Take
up.
several. Take several.
Thank you, Klungo. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Salute, my friend. Damn, we've made like $70 in super chats this stream. This is fucking nuts. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much.
Am I going to
Powerful.
stay up to watch Drew debate Alex Jones? Potentially.
Chris, set an alarm. Set an alarm.
Alarm, bro. He's going to stay up.
How much for you to do a mukbang stream? What's a mukbang stream? What's he talking about?
It's where you eat a lot of food very sloppily.
I'm not doing that. That's disgusting. I'm
Think
not doing that.
Think like Nico Avocado.
No, disgusting. I'm not doing that.
Drew Miko, many parallels.
No, I'm never doing that. That's disgusting.
Beautiful, beautiful, darling, Drew.
700,000 children deported. That's fucking crazy. Some are given military training made to fight against Ukraine. Putin lied about genocide towards the Russians by Ukrainians and Georgians to justify it. I have no idea how Alex would react if you called him a communist, but it would be funny. But it's true. He's supporting communism. Alex, you are objectively supporting communism. Actually, facts.
Real and true. Real and true.
That's true, though. The Russians fight under hammer and sickle flag. Some of them are still fighting under the Soviet, like literally the fucking Soviet banner in like Bakhmut and
beautiful
shit.
Beautiful Soviet banner. Thank you, Russia. Very cool.
Has anybody actually put this to Alex Jones before that he's supporting white genocide in Ukraine?
New and untold levels of
It's true. It's literally facts.
Look, it's not an untrue statement. Okay, I'm not going to say it's an untrue statement. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing because it's just a powerful debate tactic. Let's put it that way. It's powerful.
Hang on. This is interesting. Martinez has a video where he's talking about like Putin's pivot to black power. That's very funny. Let's watch this. Hang on. I'm gonna put that up. How powerful.
Defends traditional moral views. Putin recently announced that he has prioritized relations with African countries. African News reported this, quote, Mr. Putin believed that Russia... like
Brick
Africa,
shitters.
defends traditional moral
And what they
values by
learn.
resisting the neo-colonial ideology imposed from abroad. He also promised to supply the neediest African countries with cereals if the important agreement on Ukrainian exports was not renewed
Cocoa
in 2
Pops
months.
or
According to
Ukraine?
Mr. Putin, Russia
Putin plans to increase cooperation.
plans to increase cooperation with African countries in the field of energy, medicine, and to double the quotas of African students in Russian university. Against the backdrop of Western sanctions linked to its offensive in Ukraine, Moscow is currently seeking support in Asia and Africa, where many states have not openly condemned the Russian military intervention. Russia had already multiplied initiatives on the African continent in recent years aimed at posing as an alternative to the former colonial powers. Putin has launched a charm offensive in Africa to win over the dark masses to his side.
Oh, that's pretty schizophrenic. I don't agree with that. I'm disavowing that. I'm disavowing that. Please note, anybody watching, I'm disavowing that language. I don't agree with calling it black masses. I'm disavowing that. I'm just interested.
Quote,
I'm interested in a right-wing critique of Putin.
in less than a month, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov visited 7 African countries in 2 trips to the movement for
I could have told you this without saying dark matter.
for his frequent
I've already talked about Malema before, but let's
kill white boars, made it clear his sympathies lie with Russia.
just again disavowing the language of dark matter. I don't agree with that, but okay.
EFF leader Julius Malema.
Holy shit, we've got another super chat, $10 Klungo. Thank you so much. Salute. I'm doing a double salute to you. my
Where
friend.
is the
Thank
food
you so much.
video? Wow,
Bro,
he's
we've
hungry.
literally made I think we made $80 on the stream. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it a lot.
Says that Russia gave South Africa support during the liberation struggle in the country by providing arms, money, and education. Russia and
Powerful.
Ukraine have been at war for over 3 weeks, with the latter receiving military and monetary support from its allies, the US and NATO. While the South African government has taken a neutral stance in the conflict, urging peace, Malema is unequivocal.
We are here to say to NATO, we are here to say to America, we are not with you. We are with Russia. And today, we want to say to Russia, thank you for being there when it was not fashionable to be there.
Fucking based. We love the Julius Malema.
They makes sense. From the ANC. Thank you very much, Malema, for reminding me about that.
Somebody needs to just beam that video into Elon Musk's brain like 24/7 until he just fucking snaps and just goes, I fucking hate Russia. That's what they have to do.
Bloodthirsty African
Holy fuck. Okay, I'm disavowing again.
dissension in the United States,
Oh, that black nationalist group they support in Atlanta. That's pretty funny.
in East Germany and Cuba. And she has been harbored ever since by the anti-white communist regime of Fidel and brother Raul Castro.
I live in the wokest part of South Africa where the whites here love Malema. But Malema wants to kill you. What the hell's going on? That's fascinating. How do the whites like Malema?
Putin's support for Black Power is not totally insincere, though. Here he is granting citizenship to the African-American boxer Roy Jones Jr.
Oh yeah, when they just give like schizo citizenship ceremonies to random American celebrities who support them.
Beautiful Steven Seagal.
Wait,
Wait, is Steven Seagal implicated with the tunnels? We need to figure this out.
Oh, Dugan, this is beautiful. Let's watch some Dugan.
Then March, which the FBI dates the creation of the base.
Oh, Russia supported the base. That really
members have been
Nazi
linked
group.
were not in connection to. It makes sense why Russian intelligence would be interested in such people. Ronaldo Nazzaro, founder of neo-Nazi cosplay group The Base, whose members have been linked to murders in the U.S., has a Russian wife, lives in Russia.
So Martinez is like far right, but he's against the Nazis. Okay, interesting.
And is seen here with a Putin.
Wait, why do they have a rating on their?
The BBC reported, quote,
Oh,
we traced Nazzaro and his wife to an upmarket property in central St. Petersburg purchased in her name in July and then march into Eastern Europe in a wrecked
He put Black Power in Dugan.
its lost empire without opposition. Dugin has close ties to the dissident right via the French New Right. He wrote in his 1997 strategy book Foundations of Geopolitics that Russia should, quote, sponsor all kinds of separatism and ethnic, social, and racial conflicts,
that's a good one.
actively supporting all dissident movements, extremist, racist, and sectarian, thus destabilizing internal political processes in the U.S. It would also make sense simultaneously to support isolationist tendencies in American politics. This is all designed to introduce geopolitical disorder into internal American activity, he said.
Actually, that's a really good thing to bring up in the debate.
Dugin doesn't mince his words when spewing out his genocidal, violent hate fantasies against the collective West. He said this, quote, the West is geographical antichrist. The West should pay for everything. It would be best to settle him with Chinese, Tatars, Muslims. All this
Bro, we should ask him about this question. Fucking hell.
Yeah, just
what a
direct quote
quote.
that one.
What is it? He says we should settle. What's this quote? The West is dead land. The West is dead land. He will revive only when the Cossacks settle him. Holy shit. I'm going to put this to him, man. What a quote. What a fucking quote. How do I find this, though? Dugin, Fronda, settle him with Chinese. Holy fuck. So schizo.
Eurasian nomadism. The West is dead land.
Fucking schizo.
He will revive only when the Cossacks settle him.
Bring smells. Interesting.
Tajiks, Kazakhs, they will bring life with them, bring smells. He went on to say this, quote, Europe today has a choice, Eurasianism or Atlanticism. Either he will go with Russia or America. If the European New Right chooses us, that is the barbaric element, it must therefore adopt our methods of action. You have to organize attacks, deal with sabotage, set fire to and blow up bridges. And what does the New Right do? She turned into an intellectual sect for 30 years, overweight and in West Atlantic shore who breed human slaves to eat them.
What the fuck? Wait, what? What's this? What?
He said, I'm a supporter of blacks, white civilization.
What the fuck? Amazing. Okay, dude. All right.
Responsible.
I don't know why there's twerking, but amazing. Okay, let's go to another thing.
I don't know. I was rather enjoying that one. That was
very interesting.
I was rather enjoying that.
Okay, what else should we go through? I'm just trying to think. Oh, we should watch him and Dugin. Yeah, we should watch him and Dugin for sure. Okay, hang on. Let me get that up. We'll watch Alex Jones and Dugin. Alex Jones talks. Hang on. Alex Jones talks with. Hang on. Okay.
Attempt to assassinate Trump.
Join that true rewind. No thanks.
I was convinced in the very moment that this man is on the level of the ideas he defends. He was and is real hero. He is not joking with this.
I'll put it on 2-speed because it's just so fucking annoying.
Ideas. He is ready to sacrifice his life or for the cause he believes in. So that was very serious. And I think that was the intervention of God who has saved him, because some millimeters to the right and he would be killed. So it is not game. And when I have seen Trump being in the front of the crowd, almost killed, but when he...
What did you say?
It wasn't God, it was Shinzo Abe, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, well said, actually.
It was Shinzo. It was Shinzo.
Has risen up.
Purple Pingers owns a cotton farm on the Murray River where he kidnaps the people who go to the and they send satellite signals to the KGB through the cotton farm. That makes sense to me. That makes
this
a lot
is true.
of sense.
And still continued his discourse. That was a kind
Very
of on the
well
level
said.
of
Very well said that.
the Greek tragedy. Oh, that was
I love him Dugan saying it's a Greek tragedy.
act that we should remember, because this man is not joking. He is ready to sacrifice his life for the cause of America, of American tradition, for Christ, for religion, and for the greatness of his cause. And all the American leaders, and they have shown already that they are capable to do some incredible things. Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, Robert Kennedy, Pam Bondi, the press secretary of White House, so Trump and Putin, they are two figures. They belong to the intermediary age. They are just bridges between now and tomorrow, between present and the future. But they have already created these bridges. That in Roman language, that the meaning of the term emperor was, or pontifex, that was a kind of the other name for emperor, was the creator of the bridges. So Trump and Putin, they have installed already this process of the bridges to the future.
The government fears Alex Jones, who has the largest audience in the country, bigger than any of the networks, the biggest megaphone in the country.
The deep state hates Alex Jones with a vengeance.
Alex Jones is the most extraordinary person I've ever met.
For the last 30 years, Russia has been completely encircled by NATO, and we're overthrowing governments. Places like Ukraine, Romania, just 2 months ago, openly bragging that the unelected EU Commission directed their intelligence units to overthrow and use a Soros-controlled judge to take the will of the people away, all because the new president who's been on our show is aware of the globalists and didn't want World War III and wanted Soros operations out of his country. But the globalists have problems. All over the world, people want their evil Satanism out of their country. We don't want to be colonized.
He looks so different with the weight loss.
It's by the Rothschild globalists.
Yeah, the Mounjaro pill. A lot of people said this about Drew.
Black Rock system. And just as the
You
U.S. has been
can
infested with
talk
these
about
NGOs,
your
Russia has been
experiences
infested.
on Mounjaro.
Yeah, we can bond over it.
We
That'd
can
be
bond.
powerful.
We can bond.
We can say,
Yeah.
listen, Alex, we've both taken weight loss medication. Good to talk. Let's chat
Do
about
you have a recommended brand? Do you have like a InfoWars is like
Does InfoWars do Mounjaro?
do you guys do Mounjaro? Like, can I get like a hookup? Does this
That'd
one
be
have
good.
like
Yeah.
tiger blood in it? You know, this is
Elite male vitamins.
Yeah, this is like this. Forget super male vitality. This is sigma male vitality.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you
That's
open
a better
the
job of
when you open the
last
pack of it, like Tours de Moors plays, Auslander Rouse still come out of the box. It's like a little greeting card.
Fucking hell.
Them out. And so now, on the 3rd anniversary of Russia and its special military operation being next Monday, the 24th, Trump had a very successful
Thank you, Tom Foes.
opening
I
round.
find it on Discord. Hang on. Okay, beautiful. Actually,
Мы
I've got it.
сражаемся и за себя, и за тех парней.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna put. Let me bring up Discord.
Fuck, more Dugan. Ugh.
No, it's good. Hang on. This is a funny one.
Мы сражаемся и за себя, и за тех парней
Holy
китайских,
shit.
индийских, исламских, африканских, латиноамериканских парней, которые тоже получают благодаря этого возможность, благодаря нашей войне. Мы несем на себя, как обычно, русский человек берет на себя миссию гораздо более широкую, чем мы сами. Многие не понимают значения, не до конца понимают значение нашей войны, но мы отстаиваем иной миропорядок, справедливый, честный,
Traditional values,
основанный
so
на
true.
традиционных ценностях.
That's actually awesome. We are fighting both for ourselves and our mercenaries who get good opportunities from our war. Very awesome DEI mentality. Fucking based like mercenary DEI moment. Epic. Hang on. That was actually a good one.
So you get Western DEI, so you can get slave labor, and then you get Eastern DEI, where you can have you can have cheap mercenaries. I don't know which way. I don't know.
Which way, Western man? Hang on.
Talks in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, with the Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov, and Russia put on the table. Look, if the EU wants Ukraine economically and they want to do it, let them vote. They can go, but no NATO on our border. It's the last straw. And that's completely reasonable and a giant concession. And Trump's, I want elections. Well, Zelensky's got a 4% approval rating. He's a dictator.
4%? Oh, that's a fucking bullshit lie.
And Zelensky had already attacked before that press conference yesterday and said Trump's basically a Russian stooge. Absolutely ridiculous. Trump wants peace. Doesn't want to attack Iran. He doesn't want war with China. He wants prosperity. Alexander Dugin is a leading political strategist, best-selling author. I call him a philosopher. Very interesting. And they've called him Putin's brain, but he'll disagree with that. But he has been very influential in not just elite circles, but in the general population in Russia. and he was targeted by the Ukrainian NATO forces last year, and they killed his daughter, Daria. It's terrible, and I hate to bring that up. I just want to point out how real this war is. The head Russian general over their biological and chemical systems exposed, which Victoria Nuland admitted, that the U.S. under Obama had built biological weapons facilities all over Ukraine. First they denied it, then they had to admit it, then they blew him up a few months ago. I mean, this is serious business, and I've seen these different Ukrainian groups say they want me dead, they want Jack Posobiec dead. They sent a U.S. CIA-trained guy out of Ukraine to try to go kill Trump at the golf course.
So true.
I mean,
that was
this is
literally a random retard, just like a random mentally ill retard. And like he literally got kicked out of Ukraine because nobody wanted to touch him because he was so retarded.
Big deal. And you've got the deputy leader in Canada is on the WEF board and is a Ukrainian operative as well. I mean, they've got a Ukrainian really Nazi, I mean, they really are Nazis for real, lunatic group that I think is one of the most dangerous groups facing Americans for political assassination, not just Russians, but the man we have on right now, his daughter was brutally killed by these people. So that's the type of folks we're talking about, true terrorist here. He's on X at AG Dugin, D-U-G-I-N. I want to go to him here, who's been gracious to join us, but I first want to play a short clip, Alexander, of President Trump in the press conference yesterday. Here it is.
We're hearing that Russia wants to force Ukraine to hold new elections in order to sign any kind of a peace deal. Is that something that the U.S. would ever support?
Well, we have a situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, essentially martial law in Ukraine, where the leader in Ukraine, I mean, I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating, and where a country has been blown to smithereens. You got most of the cities are laying on their sides. The buildings are collapsed. It looks like a massive demolition site. The whole, I mean, so many of the cities. I mean, they haven't done it in Kiev because I guess they don't want to shoot too many rockets in there. They've done it 20%, but they haven't done it 100%. If they wanted to do it 100%, it would probably happen very quickly. But you have cities that are absolutely decimated. And yeah, I would say that, you know, when they want a seat at the table, you could say the people have to, wouldn't the people of Ukraine have to say, like, you know, it's been a long time since we've had an election? That's not a Russia thing. That's something coming from me and coming from many other countries also. I believe President Zelensky said last week that he doesn't know where half of the money is that we gave him. Well, we gave them, I believe, $350 billion, but let's say it's something less than that, but it's a lot. Where is all the money that's been given? Where is it going? And nobody, I've never seen an accounting of it. We give hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't see any accounting. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down. When I left, there was no chance that this could have happened, but it happened because we had incompetent leadership at many different levels.
So true.
J.D. Vance has now warned Zelensky that he will, quote, regret bad-mouthing Trump, condemns his atrocious response. Zelensky is a known psychotic cokehead. Alexander,
that's so mental.
Dugin, again, thank you for joining us. There's so much to talk about. Where would you like to go first?
So I think that now, Alex, thank you for inviting me, first of all. We are in a very special moment of the history of the world. We need to understand radical changes. Everybody, maybe not everybody, but many people dreamed about the end of the globalist domination, dictatorship of the world. We dreamed how we could overthrow it, how we could resist it. This globalist dictatorship with woke liberal agenda imposed on the people, with their tools to implement their agenda through pandemic, through this the wars, the pressures, and what was absolutely unawaited, what was absolutely unique in the situation, that the salvation has come from the main headquarters of globalism, from United States, and the victory of Trump, supported by the absolute majority of the American people. That was a kind of religious news, good news for the humanity, that globalist deep state that was at the origin of so many crimes against humanity was overthrown by American
globalist for Z is like Zionist for Hamas. Yeah,
people. That is the real revolution, world revolution. Much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head off for a bit. I will be back. But okay. I seem to go a couple of things. So
yes,
I'll be back. I will rejoin.
More important than
continue. I don't know, jerking off to like this old man with like Santa. Sort of cringe Russian Santa. You can keep jerking off to him. I don't know. I don't know what gets you off. I'll see you later.
Okay. Thanks, Vin.
The October Revolution. I think what has happened some months ago, and after Trump came to the office, that was a huge change in the global
Bro, Klungo, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the donations. 53 IQ, 53 smartest person on the entire planet. You, Drew. Thank you, Klungo. Bro, thank you. You've done like $40 in super chat today. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
System of power. So in the center of the globalism, of the globalist agenda that started the crimes.
Bro, Klungo, thank you so much. You're awesome, man. Thank you so much.
The terrorist attack, the color revolutions, the wars, all that was destroyed from inside, from American people. That is great. We could not understand the real importance of what has happened in the world, because the center of the global evil was taken as a hostage by the people, the powers of light and the justice and the traditional values. So the victory of Trump was something much more than just victory of Republicans, of Trump, of one individual. That was immense event, or in the metaphysical level.
Yeah, Klungo's literally my top super chatter. Thank you so much, Klungo. You're a legend, man.
Level of the history of humanity. So I am first.
Drew, give me a 30-second short on who Dugin is. Dugin is like a top fascist philosopher in Russia. He's very famous inside Russia. He basically talks up his links to Putin. There are people inside the Putin administration who read him. Yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank American people for making this choice, because it was your victory. It wasn't the victory of some group of people, political clans and so on. That was the global victory of the light or the darkness. And that, in my opinion, that is much more important than everything else. So Ukrainian conflict, pandemics, and all the COVID exposure of the corrupted government of globalists, all these things are secondary in front of some much more important metaphysical event, that is the victory of Trump. It is global victory. It is our victory. It is the victory of Europe. It is the victory of all the sincere logic.
But we know I 100% agree. I don't have the words to describe to my viewers and listeners, but they feel it and see it. But we know there's 87-year cycles, but this is a super cycle. It really is a fourth turning. It's not just here, but it's more dramatic here because this was the center of the power, because the U.S. coming out on top, merging with the British Empire in World War II. Then all the corruption came in here, took over. It was waging war against us, doing terrible things here. Same things it was doing around the world. Literal pedophilia, the transgenderism. You did a great job with Tucker a few months ago breaking down the logical progression of liberalism and where it is now, and that it is the main threat. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. People now identify it. They understand the philosophy of it. And there is not to take away from America's victory. It's seismic. But everything is Newtonian physics. For every action, equal opposites of that reaction. So because things are so bad here, the resistance would be so good. We need to talk about how the bad guys are going to strike back. But I tend to agree with where you're leading. This is irreversible, global political awakening, total political tectonic realignment. Once in a 1,000-year event. Now, this is the equivalent of coming out of the Dark Ages. This is the equivalent of the Renaissance. This is but much bigger because of the speed and technology and the mass of people. And it's just beginning. It's accelerating. Elon Musk wants to have technological advancements, go interstellar, type 1 civilization. He absolutely hates war. Trump hates war. They are very transactional and also very aesthetic in that they like prettiness and happiness and all the good things that humanity celebrates, and the ugliness of the globalists, knowing that they wanted to offer tyranny, so they had to make us accept ugliness and break our will. But instead, they woke up the sleeping giant of humanity, and now the tables have totally turned violently, and I don't mean physically violently, but violently against them. This is not a wave. This is a wave of tsunamis that are only getting bigger. Can you speak to that? And then I agree. We should do a big picture before we zoom in on trying to end this war in Ukraine. But looking at this, how the bad guys are going to strike back, because they're not giving up. Though they're having their funding cut off, they're being chopped up, but they're still not giving up.
So first of all, I would like to underscore your words about the beauty. So one of the first measure and imperial we could do most concrete, most practical things. I think that Trump has made today an absolutely incredible statement about the origins of the war in Ukraine. The war in the Ukraine was started by Biden, by globalists. That was a special operation to destroy Russia as not as a country, but as obstacle on the way of globalists to install their new world order based on Great Reset and this globalist agenda. Russia rebelled against a new world order and declared the loyalty to the traditional values. Putin has made recently, some years ago, 2 years ago, the decree of the state defense of the traditional values. That was precisely the challenge against globalist agenda, woke day, and all this scam. And that was challenge to this global rule of this pedophile elite that has seized the control of the West. And now, and the Ukraine war and Zelensky were the tools to destroy Russia. And that was not about American national interests. Nothing of the American national interests in supporting this perverted creature of Zelensky to start the bloody war, terrorist attacks against us in Russia. That was not in the interest of United States of America. All the aid, all the military aid and financial aid to Zelensky was a kind of waste at costs done for nothing, because no one real concrete interest of America as a national state was implied. So that was total waste in order to destroy Russia. And that this idea, this project has failed. So you have wasted so many money, so many weapons in order to...
Why did he have the video of the gay dude dead?
Crush Putin's Russia, traditional society, in order to get nothing, as a reward. So that was a kind of
Monsieur, thanks for joining.
Suicide for American interests. And I think...
And it only drove people into Russia and China's grasp. So expanding on that, I'm sure you saw it 3 weeks ago, the deputy head of the unelected EU Commission came out and she said, oh, yes, we're not just going to defeat Russia and Ukraine. We're going to break up Russia and get rid of the Russian culture. And started laughing. And it's, again, a woman who you can tell couldn't even, fight her way out of a wet paper bag. Then we see, obviously, Soros, we could still talk a few years ago, saying, I will be the czar of Russia, he. So they publicly say they hate Russia and destroy Russia. It comes out of that Russophile thing from the Trotskyites that got into the neocons and into the Russophobia of the top national security advisor who helped set up so much of this, Victor Brzezinski. But then they'll act like, oh, we love Russia. No. But then meanwhile, on the other side of their mouth, oh, we're going to break them up. What did they expect Russia to do while they were saying we're going to break you up and putting weapons around you? I'm surprised by the restraint. And
surprised by the restraint. Holy shit. Surprised by the restraint. That's fucking nuts.
Up there arrogantly saying we're going to go it alone without the United States. We're going to keep fighting Russia. Zelensky shooting his mouth off. There still is this invincible arrogance, or is that an act? Are they just acting confident?
So, first of all, you could not win nuclear power without provoking nuclear war, nuclear Armageddon. So it is quite impossible, because being obliged to defend ourselves, and in the last moment we would use, and Putin has said it clearly, we would use the nuclear weapon if we could, would have no other solution. So that was a kind of suicidal attempt to stop us, to destroy us, to blow up us. But I think that had nothing to do with American concrete, realist, rational interests, national interests, nothing at all. That was a kind of religious hatred to the society, to the country, to the state that defends traditional values, that wants to return to the Christian roots of its...
Well, that's right. Hollywood loved Russia when it was communist.
So true, bro. So true.
Now, and the fact that rational minds saw the globalists pushing us towards nuclear war and joint collective planetary suicide forced people to wake up and forced to break. The globalists overplayed their hand, and now it's backfired.
Exactly. But what is a real wonder? What is the real miracle of the present moment? That the salvation came not from our victory, from our readiness to defend our values, our sovereignty, our principles, our ideas, but the salvation came from the United States themselves. That is, I think, something incredible.
Jugan threatens the West with nukes.
So American people has played a crucial role in preventing global suicide. So American people has chosen life, future, natural interests. So American first and make America great.
Well, that's what Trump says. He says we're common sense. That's all.
Absolutely. That is not about accomplishing some religious heroic act. That was defense of common sense, because the people wants to live, to prosper, to be and not to be. And that was the choice, but the Hamlet choice, the Shakespearean choice of American people, to be or not to be. And American people has chosen to be. And that
Alexander Dugan, stay right there. We'll be right back, sir. Stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I have delivered. My crew has delivered. InfoWars has delivered victory against the globalists. And while Trump and Elon being shut down, Key.com, the ultimate CMOS that supports InfoWars, you can find other incredible products are still available. They're not available at thealexjones.com. That supports InfoWars. You can find them exclusive. Tip of the spear, veterans of the InfoWars. I have delivered to you. I have stood up for you. And now, I need your support right now to stay on the air, regardless of what happens to InfoWars, at RealAlexJones.com. History's happening now. The ball's in your court. Take action now to complete our victory against the globalists at RealAlexJones.com. And myself and the crew and my family salute you. All right, I need to get Alexander Dugin back on for maybe a commercial-free show for an hour and a half so we can really get into everything deep, because what's happening in America, what's happening in Russia, what's happening everywhere, it's happening across Europe, Latin America. People understand there's a global corporate system that came out of the British Empire that merged with us after World War II. This is like mainline PhD political science, but the general public doesn't even know this stuff. It's like not debated, it's a fact. And then it uses leftist ideology to undermine, make people weak, make people alone, control them.
Buy these pills to make your cock work again. It's so true.
And I believe for 30 years we just exposed it. As their agenda got worse and worse, because they said what their agenda would be, all this horrible, you will eat the bugs, cut your son's genitals off, cut your daughter's breast off, conquer the world.
You should have stopped the debate to do an ad for pills.
Theology of evil. And we were basically conquered by it, but not completely. And we struggled back. And then they persecuted Trump. They stole the election. All the lawfare. People saw how evil they were. 80+% of Americans were against being involved in the war in Ukraine. Zelensky's got a 4% approval rating. This stuff is not popular with the Germans who are going bankrupt from it. Then they blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, half the gas in Europe, and they blame Putin for that. Now they're attacking nuclear reactors and blaming Putin for that. And we see headlines, oh, Medvedev falsely claims they might do a dirty bomb or a nuclear disaster. They're trying it. So, Alexander Dugin, I want to ask you, first off, what was it like when you guys saw Trump shot? And then I saw Putin when he was even president-elect saying, we're worried he won't be able to live to get in there, and I'm still concerned. What was that like? And then I want to extrapolate out. God forbid we want to happen. They already murdered your daughter recently, and I'm sad to bring that up, just pointing out how real this is. And then sending a Ukrainian operative to try to kill Trump again in Florida. What was it like when you saw that? What was the response by Russia? And then what do you think will happen if they do kill Trump? Because they're still going to try. I think that would blow up in their face even faster but make this get pretty violent quickly. And I'm actually concerned about that, because about destabilizing it'll be, though it would rout the globalists even faster. And then out of that larger question, or that small question, the larger question is, how are the bad guys going to strike back? How do you see them striking back? Or are they giving up? Because, I mean, it's a large constellation of groups and organizations. Some are giving up. Some are acting like they're giving up. Like Zuckerberg, but got caught still putting in billions to attack Trump right now with lawfare. And so I mean, that's a big question. But obviously, the bad guys are going to strike back.
Oh, first,
it's the most Alex Jones I've ever watched in one sitting. Yeah, me too.
Of all, I think that the ideas, political ideas, religious ideas, philosophical ideas, they are very, very serious things. And the seriousness of them is measured by the possibility to be killed, to lose your life. So that is the price to have ideas. My daughter has written in her article and her, so if you have ideas, the real ideas, you should be prepared to die for them. So when I have seen this attempt to assassinate Trump, I was convinced in the very moment that this man is on the level of the ideas he defends. He was and is a real hero. He is not joking with the ideas. He is ready to sacrifice his life for the cause he believes in. So that was very serious, and I think that was intervention of God who has saved him, because some millimeters to the right and he would be killed. So it is not game, politics, ideas, opinions, conventions. They all.
Read the part of the Martinez article that goes over how Russia is behind mass migration in Europe. Yeah, I'll look into that. I'll look into that. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way, man. Thank you.
About that, about life.
Culture is the real wealth. Culture, a good culture is life. A bad culture is death. It's everything.
Absolutely. And when I have seen Trump being in the front of the crowd, almost killed, but when he has...
You can also see how the bad guys hate him with a passion. That's the big indicator.
Yes, and that is that is interesting point. The people who really hate
Dugin speaks like Borat. This is an interesting point. The people who really hate Trump sounds like fucking Borat, dude.
Trump and Trumpists, the very same people hate Russia, hate myself, hate Putin. The same people, the same crowd of people, they have killed my daughter. They have shed the blood of thousands of the Russian people in the Ukraine conflicts. They are the same, absolutely the same, with the same ideas, with the same connections, with the same hatred. So that is very important now in this peace talks between United States and Russia, between Trump and Putin, to understand the real and deep nature of our enemies. They are not two kinds of enemy. Putin, people who hate Putin and the people who hate Trump. That is one and the same group of people who hate both. You are us, and they are them. And them are not just Russophobic group.
Hi, Drew. I want to send you a document that contains possible responses to prepare for each of his talking points. I want to send you some links and sources to use against him. How can I send the doc to you? Are you in my Discord circle, Full Circle History?
They are as well as Russophobic, but as well Trumpophobic. They
hate any sovereign, strong country because they want a global government with a bunch of slaves, and they don't want any free nations, any sovereign nations, any unique nations, because they want global domination.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they attack from the shadow. They
Very
don't
nice.
expose
Alexander Dugin, very nice.
themselves to be the target. So we could not find them. They are hiding. For example, when my daughter was killed, I'm absolutely sure that Boris Johnson...
holy shit.
For example, when my daughter was killed, I'm absolutely sure that Boris Johnson, who...
I've never used Discord, but I'll download it. Yeah, please join the Discord and you can send it through to me over Discord. What do you think of the death of Dugin's daughter? It's a shame that Dugin and his daughter made themselves target by participating in the war.
Was at that time the Prime Minister of England. He has given this order to MI6, and
he says Boris Johnson ordered the death. That's fucking
Ukrainian terrorists who were only the tools of this assassination. But the real crime, the real responsibility is the responsibility and the orders were given by globalists, and they're in the shadow. Nobody could take them to the car. Nobody could say you have killed us, you have tortured us, you have started this bloodshed in the Ukraine inside of the same people. So that's it.
Dugin literally once called for the mass genocide of Ukrainians. He said that they're a gutter people. And I'm going through the rest of the article. March 2025 was reported. Putin issued a decree demanding Ukrainians leave the territories occupied by Russia. This is part of the parcel of the campaign of ethnic cleansing. Bring Anna on. Actually, that would have been a good idea. Yeah, Damien's unfortunately correct. You make your bed where you lay. Medvedev dehumanized Ukrainians' blood-sucking parasites. They hate Ukrainians so much. That's full genocidal by Medvedev. How do I join your Discord server? I'll send you guys the link, guys. I'm gonna get the link and I'll send it to everybody. Trampa. I just sent the Discord link in the chat, guys. You can see it on the screen if you want to join. We should not stop until the current terrorist in essence, the Ukrainian state is completely dismantled. It must be destroyed to the ground, rather so even the ashes from it are not left. Here he says that all of Ukraine is disputed territory. Yeah, so he's literally saying all of Ukraine is disputed territory. If you grill him on Russia being woke and anti-white, it will really do well against his audience. Yeah, I think that's true. I'm Tim Possible. Okay, dude, thanks so much. I think it's open invites on the Discord. I put, if you guys want to join, and then you can send me through any articles and I can have a read. Mitchell's like, oh, Russia doesn't do mass migration. Do you understand what they do when they've got millions of Central Asian migrants? Russia has massive waves of migration. I don't think you understand at all. Putin told me he did not want Ukraine to exist. Yep. Says Ukraine is an artificial state. Do you remember when Medvedev was saying for like 2 years? I don't remember. I was a kid when he was in power. Surkov, the former Grey Cardinal. Oh, Klungo, wow. How much money is needed to be raised for a Drew mukbang stream to happen? I'm not doing mukbang, but I appreciate a lot your super chats. Thank you so much, bro. Holy shit, you've donated $60 today. I appreciate it a lot, man. Thank you so much. I'm actually really surprised by the level of support. Thank you so much, guys. You know, it's great. This is my birthday, so I appreciate so much the birthday support. Thank you, guys. Very kind of you all. I'm just checking now. I think I've got 57, 67, 77, 82, 92, 90. I think we've made over $100 on the stream tonight. Thank you so much, guys. It's really nice of you. Thank you so much. Have joined the Discord. Thank you. Drew, you need to eat on stream for Baklunga. I'm not eating on the stream. The CCP trolls and the Russia trolls will take a field day with it, right? But thank you so much for the super chats, guys. I really appreciate it. Very kind of you guys. I think we've raised like $100 for the stream today. So very, very nice of you all. Thanks so much for donating for my birthday. I really appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I know that case. This guy's talking about basically a guy in Russia burned a Quran, and the Chechens kidnapped him, and Kadyrov's son personally tortured and beat him on camera. Dugan says it's necessary to abolish the idea of Ukraine as its own country. Ukraine, except Western Ukraine, should be next to Russia because Ukraine, as I say, has no. That's what he says, isn't it?
So, in order, mercenaries and soldiers believe.
С идеей Украины как антирусского государства. Почему не может быть никакого...
I'm pretty sure this guy got blown up, which is very funny. Genocidal maniac. Why the I think he thinks there should be an exception for Western Ukraine because it's got a different type of religious demographic.
А что она нам вредит, Польша ведь, да? У нас сейчас не... Это Молдова нам, и румыны, а причем и Польша, но Польша тоже говно. Мой папа еще говорил, они во время войны, он прошел всю войну, он говорил, что хохлы, полицаи, Западная Украина вся буквально, ну и поляки, националисты, вот и все.
Ну то есть нацистов там много все-таки?
Да.
Ну поэтому, наверное, надо проводить там тоже, да?
Там надо их всех хохлов до последнего.
Holy fuck, that's sick.
Поэтому, наверное, надо проводить там тоже, да?
Там надо их всех хохлов до последнего и детей. Это гнили.
Hey, dude, it's literally all about NATO, isn't it? Isn't it? It's just all about NATO when they're talking about exterminating the entire population. The other really good quote on this is Gubarev, I think. Gubarev literally said that he kill as many Ukrainians. What was his quote? Gubarev, genocide, Ukraine quote. Yeah, Pavel Gubarev, we will kill as many of you as we have to. We will kill 1 million or 5 million. We can exterminate all of you. That's a good quote. I'm going to bring that up on the debate.
Население?
Все население.
А Польша куда, присоединить к России?
Ее тоже не... А украинцев всех, вплоть до младенцев, всех.
That's the skull of a Ukrainian soldier, yeah. Hello, Ryan. What did Moldova even do? There's like 5,000 people and they barely have foreign. Yeah, exactly. From one Drew to another, let him start going with his nut job shit and then hammer and break the link between the character Alex Jones and the person. Well said.
Это не ш... Это гниль, она распространилась, она уже... Теперь нас не любят они. Они не любят. Никакие они нам не братья, не сестры. Они...
So fucking normal. Holy shit. Yeah, yeah, true. Dugin wants the US in flames. I feel like we've actually got some pretty good research now. Oh. Hang on, where's the here it is, I think. Sorry. So, former head of Russian language broadcasting for RT Russia Today said that all Ukrainian children should be drowned. Russia has been weaponizing migrants and thrusting them up at the Finnish border since at least 2015. Wow, that's a good point. Go through, go. Lukashenko tells migrants at the Polish-Brown border.
The majority here want to reunite with their families, find their close ones in Germany. Please take these people.
They're such hypocrites.
If they, the Germans and Poles, don't hear me today, it won't be my fault. We will do everything with you to fulfill your wishes.
Come mostly from Iraq, and many are flown in on Belarus's state airline. That's crazy.
We will not oppress these people. We won't. And if they want us to catch them at the border and detain them, we also won't do that. They do not want to solve this problem.
Yeah, guys, I remember there was someone in the chat saying that there's no mass migration in Russia. 3.3 million migrant workers from Central Asia were in Russia in 2024. 2023 alone, 1.2 million Tajiks entered Russia to work of the 5.1. Holy shit, those are huge numbers. These are massive numbers. Russia builds more than 8,000 mosques in 20 years. So based. That's awesome. Putin hails diversity as foundation of Russia's strength. Russia's strength lies in its diverse multinational nature. 70% of Russians say beautiful. I agree. It's just so funny. This just goes against all the right-wing narratives, hey? Oh, this is awesome. Have you seen this one? Lukashenko encouraged Belarusian women to mix with Middle Eastern. Beautiful.
Самые красивые дети, это если...
How powerful and beautiful and progressive. When did Russia get so woke? They actually are fully woke. It's so funny. Putin never called me a racist. Oh, remember when Alex Dugan said this? He said blacks are less fraudulent than whites. Holy shit. You're based fucking Dugan, guys. Oh, remember when Putin started literally supporting Black Lives Matter? That was very progressive. Beautiful. Wow, it's an interesting article. Interesting article. Doesn't get much woker than Lukashenko being pro-interracial sex. Listen, guys, I might call the stream a day because I'm literally going to be up in 5 hours for the debate. I'll end the stream now. I'll be up in 5 hours. I'll see you in, literally 5 hours time. It's going to be 4 a.m. in Australia. I'll be on the stream by 4:30 and the debate starts at 5 a.m. Oh, I'm tired, but we'll have to do it. We'll have to do it. Thank you, guys. It's gonna be interesting debate. Thanks for Ryan and guys as well. This was, I think, my biggest ever day for super chats, which is awesome. I want to say thanks to Fight Sport Talk for $15, Tom Phones who donated like $20, Steve Sane, Bonkers, Clunger who donated like $60. You know, really, thank you so much, man. Clunger was really the GOAT tonight. I want to say thank you so much. Need big sleep, yeah. Thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to have a great debate. It'll be very interesting. God bless you all. Stay blessed, stay humble, and remember, always we will uphold the fortress of righteousness. See you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Super Bass. Thanks, Matt Curl. Thank you to everybody who chatted. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow.